what's going on everyone? This is mjNichols from InternetMoney, and today I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to humanize your melodic elements in your beat. This is a good tutorial for those of you who like to click in your melodies with your mouse as opposed to playing it on a MIDI keyboard. This little trick I'm going to show you is kind of going to give more authenticity to your melodies, as in it's going to sound like you're actually playing them as opposed to clicking them in. So what I've done here is I've taken a MIDI from my new Cartier loop kit, dragged it in here, and then I just quantized it. I put the velocity of every note back at default and quantized everything to kind of give you an idea of kind of something you would start out with if you clicked in this melody. So I'm going to play it real quick, we'll listen to it, and then we'll go from there. So as it sounds now, it sounds very cold. It sounds very robotic. It's sounding like this. When we want it to sound more like this. And of course, if you have a MIDI keyboard, you could obviously just play it live and then fix whatever mistakes you made. But this is just a way to, for those of you who don't use a MIDI keyboard or you don't feel like plugging it in, or if you can't just play it live, this is how you can humanize it and kind of make it sound more authentic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this MIDI, copy it, bring it over to B here, paste. I'm gonna mute A, so we're gonna keep that robotic just how it is so we can kind of listen to both versions when we're done to hear the difference. I'm gonna go over to B, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all these notes and I'm gonna shorten them just a little bit. I'm holding Alt and then just dragging the end. So that way we have room to work with, as opposed to if we kept everything how it was and I wanted to move this, it's clashing with this note over here. So we go back, make everything just a little bit short so we have room to work with. So to make it sound less robotic like this, you want to roll the notes so it sounds more authentic. And the way to do that is just space out the notes just a tiny bit. So rule of thumb, what I do is I keep the root note of the chord or the lowest note of the chord the same. I don't really move that forward at all. I leave it where it is. The other notes though in the chord is what I move forward. So I'll take the middle note here and drag it over. So basically all we're doing is just adding little imperfections in here, just like if somebody were actually playing it live. Some notes are going to be a little bit more on time than others. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the whole point of this. You're just going through and making little imperfections. And there's really no rule of thumb. I mean, more than like you don't want to take a note and just put it like way forward. Just make it, you know, this is trial and error. Just play around with stuff until it sounds good to you. So like in this note, I have the middle note. It's like a slant, a straight slant. On this one, it's low note, high note, and then middle note. Just to kind of give the notes, the chords a little bit different characters. And all I'm gonna do is just go through this entire progression here and do the same thing on every note. So that sounds good to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the last half of the bottom notes here, delete them, and I'm just going to copy these over. And to do that, all I did was I held Control down, pressing the left mouse button, drag and selected these notes, and then I held Shift and then moved them over. and that duplicates it. And I'm gonna do the same thing to these top notes here. Move them over. Make sure these last two notes here are a little bit off. So now that the notes they sound a little bit more authentic, they kind of roll off each other instead of just being a straight all at once. Now we're going to change the velocity of them. The velocity of a note is basically just how loud the note plays. So right now they're all at default. So every single note on here is being played at the same exact velocity, the same volume. And obviously when somebody's playing a piano live, that's not the case. They aren't perfect. Every note's not going to be exactly the same. It's going to just kind of alter a little bit. So what I'm going to do is Control A, select all the notes. You can't see this because my recording software doesn't pick it up, but what I'm doing is I'm clicking this little piano roll options icon here. The drop down menu comes down and I'm going to go to Tools and then Randomize. Alternatively, you can just select all the notes and hit Alt R. In the piano roll randomizer, you'll see a pattern section, levels section. Disable the pattern randomizer. What we're going to do is we're going to randomize the velocity of each note, and it has a knob that you can kind of click and drag and it'll change the values of the different velocities for each note. If you click and drag the knob to the right, that's going to make the higher notes in the register or in the chord progression play louder than the lower notes, and vice versa. If you bring it to the left, the lower notes are going to play louder than the higher notes. So I'm going to bring the velocity knob just a little bit to the left. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control A again, select all the notes, hold down the Alt key, and scroll down on my mouse wheel. And that's just going to bring down the velocity of everything all at once, just to kind of make the piano sound a little bit smoother. So let's play it again, now that we've done all this. And then let's compare that to the original MIDI that we had before. And one more time, let's play B again. And that's it. Basically, we just took a MIDI, moved the notes just a little bit, altered the velocity, and these little changes add up to the point where it all of a sudden sounds like somebody's playing it on a piano as opposed to you clicking it in. Like I mentioned before, it kind of gives the melodies in your beat a little bit more authenticity. When you want that more authentic sound, when you want it to sound like you actually laid down some keys on your beat, this is the way to do it. And over time, I kind of slowed down the process just so I could kind of go through and explain everything I'm doing. But once you do this a few times, you kind of pick up speed and it becomes a really quick process. And that's about it for this tutorial. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions regarding humanizing melodies. I'd be happy to answer. Also, let us know what kind of tutorial you want to see next. Who do you want to see make a tutorial? What topics do you want us to cover? Just let us know. We want to totally tailor this channel into what you guys want to see. Please let us know if you found this tutorial helpful. Please leave a like. If you want to see more of this kind of content, hit that subscribe button so you get a notification every time a new video goes live. And with that said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.